I want to be a 4-time state champion, a 4-time national champion, Olympic champion.
He had this like grand goal, whereas my goal was like real tiny. Like, I want to be a state champion. You know, I was like, I'll be an NCAA champion. And then it was, I want to be an Olympic champion.
We are underway, ladies and gentlemen, 165 pounds. Seconds to go, Taylor rolls through. They gave it on, 2-point reversal, David Taylor.
Historic moment. Now we're going to Budapest. My goal is to be world champion. I'm going back with a gold medal.
David Taylor.
The Tesla's blockchain is designed to be different. It's meant to be powerful and flexible, enabling users to frameworks to evolve and update continually. It's a network built to last, designed to seamlessly adapt to the mysteries of tomorrow. Stronger today than ever before, and even stronger tomorrow. We
It's easy to sprint, it's hard to run a marathon. What wrestling demands from you was so engaging and it was fun, and I think it kind of helped me to just be out of my own mind.
She's always open to a new idea or a new concept. She's a thinker.
We went in the mat and she was hungry to learn, and I felt like, wow, she's driven to be Olympic champ.
Every match, it didn't matter who I was wrestling, like people would just flock around the mat. It was like I was a spectacle, like, oh, let's see how the girl does. My first year, I started wrestling when I was 7 years old. And I went to my dad and I said, I'm doing everything that the boys are doing, but they get to compete and I don't. My first match, that was the only match I won all year. I was 1-30 that year, and I got to continue wrestling. This is my first ever wrestling room. One day my mom was like, Helen, kick your shoes off, just run in there. I just loved wrestling, but people were not a fan of girl wrestling was when I started getting good. If a guy has a bad practice or a bad day or slacks off, it's like, hey, get it together. If I do it, it's like, this is why you shouldn't be wrestling. This is why girls don't wrestle. What does it really take to be an Olympic champion? I'm like, am I doing enough? You can't operate from a place of fear. And I think I just had so much fear about not wanting to lose that it just paralyzed me. I went from being the #1 to now cheering in the stands. And it was like one of those things I was afraid to ever say out loud because I'm like, what if I'm the person that can't ever win something?
You want him to overreact. Now he has to open everything to get out. Here he's still strong. Here to the leg, like to the leg.
To work with Valentine, you really have to humble yourself. And to do that, I have to treat myself as like a first-year wrestler all over again.
You start talking about some challenges. Every time she would answer, I want to win the Olympics.
Things just started changing.
She started to believe in herself. She can beat anybody in the world.
It stopped becoming about like, oh, I need these results in wrestling. It started becoming like, okay, I might be good. You just heard it's like this legend, like Saori Yoshida. You know, she doesn't lose, Saori Yoshida. Nobody's unbeatable. No one's unbeatable. I just felt like for me, the edge was gonna be knowing that I really, for 4 years, I was committed to beating her. But you still walk in with the same thing that everyone else has. And that's just yourself, your wrestling shoes, your singlet, and you step on the mat.
We go for 163 kilos, match 1. In the red, representing the Simple Wrestling Club, the New York Athletic Club, Hey!
And welcome back, wrestling fans. Final X is brought to you by Tezos, the energy-efficient blockchain and official partner of Flow Sports. Tezos, designed to evolve built to empower. Visit Tezos.com to learn more. And we are back to action. Moving up to 55 kilograms, where it's Alicia Howk versus Jakara Winchester. Jakara, one of the stars in this sport, I would say.
She's definitely dynamic, coming from Missouri Valley College, where she graduated. Also, a few alumni coming out of that,
Yes.
making it to the world level and world medalists. Jakara kind of shot off after falling just a little bit short of medaling at the Olympics, and recovered by winning a world championship, and has just been really opening up and having fun with her game ever since.
That's a good way to recover, in my opinion, with a world title.
Yeah, you know, not bad.
Alicia Howk here by way of winning the U.S. Open. She is 23, also a U23 world bronze medalist last year. A bunch of other accolades, has made junior and cadet world teams in the past, now trying to make her first senior world team. These two have a little bit of history. Jakara currently leads the series 3-0. The first time they met was back in 2019 at the U.S. Open. Jakara won that one 10-0. Then at the Captain's Cup in 2021, Jakara won that one as well 10-0. And then at 2022 World Team Trials Challenge Tournament semifinals, Winchester won that one 11-0. So Howk has not been able to. But you know, I peeked over the men's freestyle mat at 57 kilograms. Zane Richards was in a similar position against Thomas Gilman, had never beaten him, had gotten teched by him multiple times, and he took match 1. So somebody as good as Alicia Howk, you cannot counter out of this match just because Jakara has won the past 3 times.
You never know when that moment's going to come where you're going to turn it over and you're no longer going to lose. I mean, I lost to Sally Roberts for 10 years straight and then won at the very end, you know? I mean, did go on to win a world medal after that. So once you open up, you open up.
Absolutely. Jakara coming out of side underhook. Taking Howk to the zone.
Nice pinch headlock throw by. Absolutely.
Two and two on the takedown and turn for Jakara Winchester.
Alicia Howk, originally hailing from Blue Springs, Missouri, has been wrestling since she's 4 years old. She just wanted to do everything that her brothers wanted to do. She has 3 older brothers that wrestle and wanted to follow in their footsteps.
Once again, Jakara taking Howk to the zone and getting her to pressure in and using that forward pressure to take her to the mat. No takedown yet. Needs to get that left arm out. There she's able to do it. Running a bar on the right side. Not a turn. So Jakara just now 1 takedown away from a tech fall already halfway through this first period.
I really love that 2-on-1 lock position as a good controlled tie that's very safe. Your opponent has to really clear that tie before they can score on you. And she pressured her towards the edge of the zone and used that pressure to take her down in a dart throw, and just a really great series. And then Jakara's doing a great job of following through in chain wrestling.
Yep, right back to it there, and that'll seal the deal for Jakara Winchester. 1 minute and 43 seconds is all Jakara needed. She wins 10-0.
She's just having fun out there. It's a great time in her career.
performance for the champion in match 1. We're going to take a quick look at some of that action. The first takedown and turn for Jakara. And there was this tricky turn she hit. Not a normal technique. And went to the opposite side, actually, to get the turn. This round of Greco-Roman and men's freestyle matches to finish up, but don't go anywhere when we return. It'll be 59 kilograms. Remember, no 57 this round. Helen Maroulis getting a delay in her wrestle off. See you in a couple minutes.
Dunia Sibomana, Jungle Kid. And he is from the Congo.
From what I know where Dunia is from, it's very dangerous. On one sunny day, they were playing on the edge of the jungle.
The chimpanzee just came out of nowhere and attacked me. It was just like shocking seeing a chimpanzee in front of me.
We will never know exactly what happened to Dunia that day. Dunia remembers waking up and seeing his face just hanging.
When I woke up in the hospital, I was just like scared. I was just surprised I was still alive.
Wrestling saved his life, along with that park ranger in Virunga. He found his identity through wrestling, and he found his confidence through wrestling.
I would describe Dunia's wrestling style as exciting. He takes it to you. He doesn't back down, doesn't take any time off. He's just on you, on you, on you.
I couldn't imagine his life at first when I came here. I just knew that it was a miracle that I was still alive, and things happen for a reason.
Great match.
Unbelievable action.
Nwachukwu is your champion.
He's pulling something out of his bag.
He's got a shirt. What's that shirt say? I don't know.
There we go. Eloy boys.
Oh, okay.
Repping the Eloy boys.
Giving some love.
We're in Eloy, Arizona, where I grew up at. Very small town, not too many people. We just get things done down here, wrestling-wise. We were working in the watermelon fields for a little bit, and that was like the toughest work I've ever did in my life. I know that I could last in the watermelon fields for 6 months, and there's nothing that I cannot do.
This is our everyday thing. This is the Eloy grind, I say. That's what we do, yep.
It's a small town. Everybody's a family.
You know them kids are rough getting out of that truck like that. Because that's the Eloy Mafia right there.
Eloy Boys is really, really tight group, and it's hard to take us apart. We're like a chain, like a metal chain that you can't rip apart.
As far as wrestling having a retention problem, a lot of it starts real early.
It was clear to everybody that, you know, some of the passion had died, and what do we do now?
They take an 8-year-old, they grind him real hard, and by 9 years old, they win a youth state title.
You got it, buddy.
Well, what's this process going to look like over the next decade?
These little bitty guys were coming off the mat and just crying. It was a negative experience for the kid. You know, you can do all the things to get him to win early, or you can do whatever you think is right to get him to be successful later.
Our philosophy was always to build a love for the sport of wrestling in kids.
Ben started working on Keegan's mental part for him.
CFO tool can make some adjustments.
Stop holding yourself back. You're your own worst enemy right now.
You're gonna get there. You just gotta believe in it.
From the University of Missouri, Keegan O2.
That's what I loved about wrestling, was that I love the fact that it was controlled chaos.
He can go right, he can go left, he can arm drag you, he can snap you.
Everyone back home was texting me, like, you just beat the Russian.
When he pinned the Russian guy, I started screaming, and I think I woke everyone up in my house. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? I'm like, Keegan just pinned this Russian dude. It was awesome.
Just kept getting better and better and better and better.
I definitely want to test myself and then make it the best run I can at wrestling. Let's see if we can do it.
We got Greco-Roman 67 kilos. Wearing the red, representing the Sun-Kissed Kids, Robert Perez III.
And welcome back. Final X 2023 presented by Tezos. This one's Jennifer Page versus Michaela Beck. I think this is a really fun matchup. Two of the pound for pound, potentially strongest women's freestyle wrestlers.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. I would vote yes on that. Jen Page always gets, a lot of commentary about being very strong. Michaela hasn't been around for a little bit. She's been in Ukraine, so seeing her back out on the national stage, and I watched her when she was a kid, and she was so aggressive. I mean, somebody fed her a raw steak and poked her with a stick. That's how she wrestled, and so it was just, really fun to watch her, and I'm excited to see her back in action.
And I think she's kind of coming into her own on the senior level. We'd seen her make age level world teams in the past, but she looked her best at the U.S. Open, where she beat Abby Netty in the semifinals and then Maya Nelson in the finals. That was 4-4 and 5-3 respectively. In my opinion, her best performance to date.
I think, contrary to the first three matches that we saw, I think this one's going to be a little bit tighter.
For sure.
Both are going to have to wrestle to the best of their game in order to get over on the other.
These two have met once in the past, but that was all the way back in 2019, 4 years ago. I think Michaela Beck was still just a teenager at the time. Paige did win that one 11-0 at 2019 Senior Nationals.
Michaela coming from that New York East Coast brawler style. And she looks incredibly strong as well. Good smile and energy from Jen Page coming in. That's a good mindset change for her.
Absolutely. You hear a lot of the wrestlers at the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club talk a lot about gratitude and being grateful for the opportunity to compete.
In the past, Paige has been able to get frustrated and has maybe dropped some matches that she would be capable of winning. And it'd be interesting to see if Michaela can push her to that mental edge.
Hard face palms from each wrestler and clubs. This match already living up to the expected physicality hype. Paige controlling center now with the 2-on-1. And that ability to control the center is going to get the first passivity called on Beck.
A lot of competitors going to that 2-on-1. Like I said, it's a great position to be able to attack from and also be able to prevent your opponent from attacking.
Absolutely, and here we see Paige using it to attack the takedown and the gut wrench for 2 more. I was just about to say that 2-on-1 can be used, only the 2-point takedown confirmed. You were out of bounds. That 2-on-1, even if you're not using it to attack, you control center with it, you can get your opponent put on the shot clock, or you can just go out and beat Jen Page and use it to score a takedown.
Jen Page now at the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club, but I don't know if there's any interviews out there for her knee injury. She was homeless at some point during her knee injury, and I want to know more about that.
I am unaware of this story. I have to hunt this down.
Yeah, she wrote it in one of her answers, and I'm really interested to see what that was all about. She always comes out looking so put together, so, it'd be nice to get into the details about some of these struggles and hardships that these athletes go through.
For sure. And Paige using the 2-on-1 forward pressure to tack on another step out, increasing her lead to 3 points. Single attempt for Beck, but go behind for Paige. And she's got a gut wrench locked up. Once, twice. Can she get it one more time?
Wow.
Yes, she can.
Absolutely. Jen Page looking really solid out there.
Yeah, we expected a close match here, but...
And we did talk about mindset. Everybody's physical,
Yep.
everybody's tough at this stage, and Jen came out smiling. This is a huge difference in the way she approaches her matches. I have not seen her come out with that relief and that relaxation, and she really opened up out there.
So we're going to take a look at the action here from Jen Page. Beck going to have to go back to the drawing board in the break here because Paige got it done from the feet and in parterre.
And you can see the look on Michaela's face. That gut wrench really hurt.
Yeah. No doubt. So we are going to have another long break here on the women's freestyle mat. Both those matches still going on over on mats 1 and 2, the Greco-Roman men's freestyle. So when we return, we are going to move on up to 62 kilograms, where it's Kayla Miracle versus Adugo Nwachukwu.
is Pan Am. I expect myself to go out there and win the championship. Yes, I do.
He's 20 years old. I think he's got a really good shot of winning the Olympics.
And I went from just regular Gable wrestler on Team USA to, oh, Gable's the next big star, maybe?
You watch him, you're like, man, this guy moves. He's different. He's unique.
That could be like the next Rock, the next Lesnar, the next Olympic champ. I feel like people are just trying to get that quick dollar, you know? It's all about hustle in this world. Wait. The places wrestling would take you are crazy. I would never think I would end up in places like Tokyo and Guatemala. We're out here in Antigua. I think that's an active volcano over there.
Ooh, shot glass. I think Gable and Dave might be in a contest. Who could spend the least amount of time on the mat?
It's crazy the doors that have opened just from being Gable and winning.
My first practice at Ohio State was rough. It was rough. I came in thinking I was ready for college wrestling, and I wasn't.
If I want to wrestle more and you don't want to wrestle more, that's your problem, not mine.
It takes about 720 days, I think, of pure suffering to really advance yourself at this level. And what a warrior does is they assess the glitches that need to be closed, and you close them. These guys they value the things that lead to progress.
It's our last meal together as a family with Nick before he leaves to go to Ohio State.
You know, you get 1, 2, 3 in the country and a bunch of other guys, and you're feeling like your program is back where it, quite frankly, belongs.
I think that this is a group of guys that can bring another title back to Columbus.
As you can see, we just moved into my room. It's really small. No idea where Nick Feldman's gonna fit.
I like the man spread. That's cool. That's cool. But there needs to be more.
That's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I really like that. It's a good thing there's no picture because this is not pretty sight.
Right here with the purple door, this is us. I always stay fresh, white tees, you know. They be going after it.
Tanning bed every other day.
That is such a lie.
I'm gonna drown you.
I don't know how that got in there.
The thing I like the most is just being around my teammates. It's fun when you are super close with your teammates and you know, everybody's laughing and joking, but when it comes time to practice, everybody gets serious and goes to work.
Every man I've ever come across in this sport has had days that are really hard, that are really rough. If today was one of those days for you, good.
1 minute remains.
Just banged up right now. It's a long season and you gotta stay ready.
This weekend we'll be down a few guys, and it's really unfortunate.
In my 30 years of coaching, I've never had a season where we've had this many injuries.
You stop following me around.
Disappointed, but that's life. You don't always get what you want. We're gonna take this one on the chin, and it sucks right now.
It's all just a bunch of little things. We got beat with a bunch of little things. So the message is hard, not down. I mean, our standards are way higher than that.
No, it's a sucky tournament for me.
My little brother passed away of cancer, and this was his hat, so I put it on anytime I have a big win.
Still do it. You can still do it. That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
The guys that are here wrestling for Ohio State, I want the best for them, and they want the best for me.
Let's go. It's my last one, so I'm trying to cherish it, and it feels even sweeter that we have the chance to bring home a trophy for Buckeye Nation. I want a trophy.
Let's grab that, boys.
Let's go Bucks on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Go Bucks.
Forward was confirmed, but we got a break ring thrown in from the blue corner. Each athlete gets one challenge per bout. They get a chance to throw the break. It goes over to the jury of the panel. They look at the video and determine what the following match should be. If the score changes, the break will go back to the corner. If they do not change the score, the action stays the same. You lose the break and you lose a point. Rather, opponent will receive a point for the lost challenge. Jones considering a freestyle match. The red wrestler opens his hands in completion of his hold. Therefore, only 2 points for red. No points for blue. Red number 1 to the danger position. Challenge is 1. Challenge is 1. Now 11 to 2. We keep wrestling. And 3-3-2, women's 130 world class athlete program, Alejandro Sancho. And once again, look up at Rock Vision. Again, finalists and Beat the Streets partnering together for the annual benefit. You can help Beat the Streets with the lifelong impact. All the youth in New York City through the sport of wrestling by donating U-Tex finalists to 44321. Tax deductible and good for kids. That's finalists to 44321. Now when you look up there, we're almost at our goal of $185,000. We need your help. So get on that phone, 44321. Text us today and help out the greatest sport in the world, the sport of wrestling, especially for our youth. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the center mat and join me in welcoming Beat the Streets New York Academy student athlete Alexis Elson of Riverdale Kingsbridge Academy as she shares her wrestling journey with Beat the Streets.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alexis Elson, and I'm a senior at Riverdale Kingsbridge Academy. Over the past 6 years, began to realize my talent after being one of the toughest growers in If I could say one thing I learned from wrestling in my journey on beat the sheets, it's resilience. I broke my collarbone in the semifinals on Mayor's Cup, and being medically disqualified from finals. This is a major setback for me, one of the most biggest accomplishments in my life. I found my way great support from BTC's community, propelling me to come back the following year to win the title. I had to undergo surgery and stuff for 6 months. Wrestling has taught me a certain mental and determination. It taught me not to go so big when you truly want in life. BTC has shown me that I am capable and deserving of success. And this mindset will help me achieve new milestones as my journey continues. I am proud to say I am enrolling in the fall to Lehman College to major in psychology. Lastly, I want to say I'm thankful for all the friendships and mentors I made through wrestling and BTC that guided me through this remarkable journey. Thank you, BTC, for all opportunities given me to grow on the mat. I am forever grateful. And thank you. If you would love to continue to complete the sheets, to help student athletes myself realize their dreams, text 5LX to 44321.
Representing the Army's world-class athlete program, Justin Scott.
And we are back. Final X this evening is sponsored by Dolomer, the official mat of Flow Sports. All Flow Wrestling events, including tonight's Final X event, will be competed on Dolomer mats, the undisputed leader in sport surfaces. So we've seen a couple quicker matches these past couple tech falls. I'm not sure what to expect in this matchup, but I do expect fireworks because it is two very high-level athletes in Kayla Miracle and Adugo Nwachukwu.
Yeah, I'm not going to make any predictions because I haven't I haven't been right about any of them lately. So no, I'm interested to see how much improvement Adugo has made since the last time they've met, and how much she's chiseled away and closed the gap on some of those mistakes that she previously made. And you know, Kayla just keeps getting incrementally better every time. I mean, she has a collection of world silver medals to her name and I think a couple of bronze. So she's been really consistent in her performance. And, you know, today will be a good opportunity to see what she still has in the tank and what Adugo has been doing to close the gap.
No doubt. And Adugo, I do think, will be a better version of herself than the 22 version that was teched by Kayla Miracle. I forget who was in a prior match. You said they started wrestling at 4 years old. Adugo started wrestling 5 years ago as a sophomore in high school in 2018. And to see where she's at now, it's unreal. It's unheard of. It's prodigy level type stuff.
Yeah, she's a track. She ran track, and she was a soccer player. Obviously soccer players, they're in great condition. She understands angles. She's a phenomenal athlete. Her conditioning is superior, and so it transitions well in some ways. But to be able to learn and have the IQ to absorb wrestling in a short period of time is really incredible.
A very interesting story. Adugo leaves Nigeria in 2018, moves to California, discovers the sport of wrestling, and now she is competing for a chance to represent Team USA at the senior level.
Not sure how much impact that has on inspiring the Nigerian team, but I was just out in Tunisia, and Nigeria was very dominant.
Yes, Nigeria with a solid women's wrestling federation. Kayla Miracle, another sun-kissed kids athlete here. Not the first one we've seen. This evening won't be the last. Adugo digging double underhooks, taking Miracle to the zone, and earning the step out.
Adugo strikes first.
Low level shot from Adugo. Good shot, or excuse me, good sprawl from Miracle.
I think she got a little bit too far away. She shot from a little bit too far space, but she is recovering well from it.
And right back up into that underhook. Nwachukwu representing William Penn University. She was at Iowa Wesleyan, and they didn't just drop the program this spring. The entire university is no longer. So Nwachukwu and her coaches in the corner. Jake Cadle, Cash Wilkie, packed up and moved across the state to William Penn.
She made a smart decision. She followed the same coaches, and she wanted to stay as consistent as possible with continuing her progress.
Absolutely. Clearly has a good thing going, and if it's not broke, don't fix it. Approaching the 2-minute mark. Nwachukwu still up 1-0. Pace slowing down just a little bit after that first step out.
Kayla is really calculated in her wrestling match. She has great strategy, and she knows how to put points on the board. So it'll be interesting to see what she uses to open up. A lot of times it's that dump she's been working on for so many years. She's really good at it. And we go for an arm spin. See? Wow, we're really opening up here.
You know, actually, I was talking to Kayla at the press conference yesterday. Oh, and it's going to be 1 point on the step out and caution in 1 for the flea as well. So Miracle will take the lead outright, 2-1.
I like that option for an attack, because even if you don't get the arm spin, you do have that opportunity to be behind your opponent, and they do have to square up on you. Sally Roberts used to use that attack a lot, and she would just go behind for the takedown, if it was defended well.
And I was talking to Miracle at the press conference yesterday, and she actually mentioned how just the other day in practice, just sparring around with Coach Lee Pritz, she went, I've never had a lefty arm spin before. I had a lefty arm spin. I thought, maybe I can do this. And here she is.
I love it. She's pushing herself to evolve in her wrestling.
And that's what it takes. Even though she's a world medalist, she's continuing to evolve her game and get better and trying to bring home that world gold.
And I think, that's what she has to do if she's going to stay in front of young athletes like Adugo.
So we go into the break. The first break, the period break we've seen in a couple matches. Kayla Miracle up 2-1. The two trading step outs, but the caution won the difference maker right now for Miracle. Adugo came out strong on the first whistle. We'll see if she chooses to do so at the break. Looking for a shot. Beautiful.
And there's that dump.
Yep. No points yet. Good defense so far from Nwachukwu. And there is the takedown from Kayla. Great grit, determination to really stick with that takedown and get it. In a trap arm, this could be trouble for Nwachukwu.
And this is where she was before. This is how she got teched before. Kayla's been doing that move for a long time, and she's been really successful at it, all the way up to the world level, and has meddled with those techniques. So it's nice to see her open up in the beginning with just something that she hasn't done before, and then when she's pressured, she goes right back to what she feels good.
The bread and butter. Nwachukwu able to get that arm free, only give up one trap arm gut before the official stands him up, but Kayla Miracle now with a much more comfortable 6-1 lead.
And you could see in the beginning she kind of didn't move her feet a lot. She was kind of lulling Adugo to sleep before she hit that arm spin. Now she's moving her feet a lot more, looking a little bit more active in that footwork.
Heavy pressure here from Nwachukwu. Nwachukwu to this point hasn't really been able to get to Kayla's legs. We've seen her take a couple shots, but the head-hands defense from Kayla Miracle is so good.
It's an opinion, but I think for some of the younger athletes to literally close the gap on the older or the more veteran competition would be a good strategy. A lot of them are a little bit afraid to engage in, closing the gap and going into those ties and working in close contact. And I think putting pressure on anybody is going to be more successful in wrestling. And here we go. She's in a tie-up now. Sometimes you just have to put yourself there and work from there.
Make your opponent uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
.30 seconds. Miracle still up 6-1 and on the attack. And quarter Nelson defense from Nwachukwu. I know that didn't feel good for Kayla, but she holds on, doesn't give up any exposure.
I think there you got to reach back and attack the hand, break the grip. But as you can see, that strategy to pressure her a little bit more, she's a little bit closer to scoring. We're not going to be able to score on some of our best competition just with no setup and just in a lot of space. That's something we got to work on a little bit if we want to take some of these really close take some of these upset matches, I would say.
So Nwachukwu comes out, scores the first point, but Kayla Miracle scores the last 6. She wins 6-1 and takes match 1.
You know what I love about this? This is absolutely an improvement for Adugo since the last time. Oh, actually, on both girls, on both athletes, they improved in their wrestling noticeably in that match.
And we're going to cut to replay. Take a look at the action here. Here was that arm spin that I don't know who saw coming outside of the Sunkissed Kids wrestling room. And the carry and the trap arm gut for Kayla Miracle. This is a match I am very much looking forward to watching them compete again in match 2 and 3 if needed. All right, so we are going to cut to break. We will be back shortly for Mallory Velte versus Macy Kilty.
We go for 77 kilos. Wearing the red, representing the Army's world-class athlete program, come on, Beck!
And welcome back to Final X presented by Tezos, a Beat the Streets event. Beat the Streets is hosting a raffle for Final X. There are several prizes available, including signed posters by world and Olympic champions and medalists, signed wrestling shoes by Yanni Diakmahalis, Kyle Dake, and Jordan Burroughs, and a 1-year subscription to FloWrestling. You can purchase a raffle ticket now at btsny.org. And now back to the action. We've got Macy Kilty versus Mallory Velte at 65 kilograms. Velte 28, Kilty 22. Velte getting here by winning bronze at the World Championships last year. Kilty won this year's U.S. Open. A little bit of history between these two. Kilty defeated Velte 4-2 at the Olympic trials this past cycle in 2021 and defeated her 11-0 at the 2021 Captain's Cup. So you might say Kilty has the advantage, but like I said, don't forget, Velte coming off a world bronze medal.
Absolutely. You know, Kilty is a junior world champion, to her credit, coming out of Stevens Point, Wisconsin. So you might know a couple of notable wrestlers coming out of there. Dennis Hall, Jesse Thielke, Ben Provisor, all coming out of that. The wrestling pedigree there is really high. I've also seen her being coached by John Smith, you know, so.
It's a good person to have in your corner.
Yeah, kind of having the greatest of all time in your corner is a good thing.
Yeah, Kilty now out at North Carolina, predominantly coached by Coleman Scott, Jamil Kelly. Velte representing the Beaver Dam RTC. Head coach Nate Engel in her corner.
Another Missouri Valley graduate.
We are underway. A lot of motion from Velte here early.
Velte obviously pound for pound strong. I wrestled her before. She does have explosive double legs.
Kilty looking for that 2-on-1. And passive offered and confirmed on Kilty. Just her first. Velte continuing to control center, so Kilty another passivity, her second. She will have 30 seconds to score now. If she is unable to do so, Velte will earn a point.
Velte's really hard to move, so that 30 seconds is a lot of pressure. So. Looking for that 2-on-1. But really unable to move Velte at this time.
And there's the shot clock. Ends a point for Velte. Now it's Velte getting hit for passivity. Less than a minute to go. Haven't really seen a committed attack from either wrestler. Just as I say that, Kilty looks for Velte's right leg. Just a lot of hard hand fighting here in the first so far.
I think because both are very hard to move, they have really strong position. It's going to be a really great setup and a good calculated attack. I like where Kilty's going with the push-out idea because that may be her opportunity to chip away and get some points on the board. And typically the official does have to choose the other wrestler if there are no points, no technical points on the board. So as a former official, we were instructed, to try to get the match action going. When competitors are familiar with each other, sometimes we see these close matches.
Yep, and not just familiar. I know there's a big mutual respect between both of these women. They know how costly an errant shot can be. When you're wrestling someone so good defensively, when it's so hard to score on, you don't want to put yourself in a hole.
Yes, and one of the mindset principles, being afraid to make mistakes. We want to minimize our mistakes, but we also don't want to prevent ourselves from going for it, for taking calculated risk.
Right.
Nice.
Sort of a scoop single there by Velte. Now taking Kilty to the edge. Switches off to a double. Not going to finish the takedown, but she will get 1 point on the step out.
Yeah, it was a nice little throw by low single type maneuver. And just taking that calculated risk, put her in a position to put at least 1 point on the board. Good 2-on-1 defense. I haven't seen that defense yet, and it is the one that I would go to as well, is peeling that top hand.
Yep, for sure. Kilty picking up the hand fight pace, a lot of movement, but not a lot of committed attacks. Really just can't.
I think as the match progresses, where the originally strong position may be looking a little bit more wobbly because, fatigue sets in, and that's when we're able to put our pressure on our opponents and get them out of position and get them out of stance. And I think that is something Kilty's working on right there. She is moving Velte a lot more, and is very close. It's a very close match. I mean, she is one takedown away from being in her favor.
Back to that snatch single is Velte. This time Kilty able to sprawl. And are we going to get grounded or 1 point here? Ooh. 1 point is offered, but it's going to be white paddled grounded, the official call.
Velte being smart, not coming up in her position right there. A lot of wrestlers would have jumped back up and tried to get right back out there, but her knowing where she is in the mat space and not wanting to come to her feet and lose that 1 point. Smart wrestling.
Kilty working the head, switching to the underhook. Moving Velte all around the mat, but hasn't been able to step her out. Now shoots a high crotch, and that's going to be 2 points. Kilty takes the lead late.
She's making progress. She was working hard in the beginning, and she continued to work hard throughout the entire match.
And Velte in danger of giving up a fall here. The North Carolina corner wants it.
And I think she's obviously going to be a little bit fatigued, and it's late. It's 14 seconds left. I mean,
confirmed, offered and confirmed. Macy Kilty by fall. And I said she wasn't taking a whole lot of text, but she was constantly hand fighting, pulling on the head, and I think that really wore Velte down.
Absolutely. You started to see Velte stumble over her feet a little bit as she started, and that's not, anybody would be with that type of pressure that Kilty was putting on.
No doubt. So a good first period for Velte, but Macy Kilty closes out match 1 in a big way with a pin.
Conditioning a huge factor. Well done for Macy Kilty.
So we're going to cut to a replay, take a look at the action. This was in period number 2, and that you see the difference there. In the first period, Velte was able to finish that attack or earn a step out. There just didn't have the energy. Kilty was able to sprawl and defend. There's the shot, the fall, and the hand raise for Macy Kilty, who takes match 1. We are going to take another break, and we will be back with action for Molinary versus Emma Bruntal after the break.
In 2011, I was at the NCAA tournament as a fan going, oh boy, we're watching history for sure.
David Taylor, your national champion.
Cael Sanderson has won 8 NCAA championships in a 9-year window.
Since Cael's been to Penn State, it's been lights out. It's been a dynasty. He's produced wrestler after wrestler who live up to or exceed expectations time and time again.
Nickel with the championship for him.
Cael is extremely secretive.
It's somewhat shrouded in mystery. It's like, how are these guys so incredibly good?
People are attracted to the fact that he's doing things differently and that it works.
I think he is maniacally competitive. The only standard is #1 and doing it the right way.
It's an era that won't be soon forgotten in college wrestling.
to Atlanta, which is a foul. Caution rule, 1 point left. Ladies and gentlemen, now on center mat, Josh Harris, the managing partner of the New Jersey Devils and a 2013 National Wrestling Hall of Fame inductee as an outstanding American, will present Rich Bender, the Executive Director of USA Wrestling, and Brendan Buckley, the Executive Director of Beacon Street, New York, with customized Violence 2023 New Jersey Devils jersey. Beacon Street, New York, USA Wrestling, and our host here at the Convention Center, and the New Jersey Devils, and Hall of Famer, Josh Harris.
And we are back. Final X this evening is brought to you by Tezos, the energy efficient blockchain, an official partner of Flow. It says back to the wrestling, 68 kilograms, two opponents who are very familiar with each other. It's Forrest Molinary and Emma Bruntal. This, not even the first best of 3 series these two have wrestled. If you rewind to 2021 World Team Trials, these two met in the finals, best of 3. Molinary won that one 9-0 and 4-3. Now, Bruntal would take the next match at the 2022 Euregan 4-2 before Molinary took their most recent match at the 2022 Yashir Do, where Molinary won by fall. So a long history, and the two have split. We get to watch it at least 2 more times this evening.
Yes, and you know, Forrest is wrestling in front of a home crowd. She's originally from New Jersey, so this has got to be really exciting for her. Forrest already a favorite, just being a dynamic person and a dynamic athlete, drawing a lot of attention, positive attention to the sport of women's wrestling. Also a late starter in the sport of wrestling, so if you listen to her talk about, you know, she's still hungry, she's still building, she's still growing, and she's so confident in where she is right now, and she still has so much more to do in her career. So very exciting to watch Forrest Molinary here today, as well as Emma Bruntal, who has racked up a lot of matches internationally this year and has come out on top on many of those competitions. And you see her smiling out here. She's got to feel confident with all those international matches under her belt.
Absolutely. Bruntal and Molinary, for that matter, they have been 2 of the most active wrestlers the past 2 seasons. Forrest trying to get back to the World Championships. She brought home a medal for Team USA in 2021. Bruntal trying to make her first senior world team. She's made a U23 world team several times. And early using the 2-on-1 is Bruntal.
And going to that 2-on-1 lock position that we see a lot, we've seen a lot today. Should be a really physical match. I mean, if you follow Emma Bruntal, you can see that she does a lot of damage to her face at times, and is representing a facial brand. Forrest Molinary is also incredibly physical as well. So there should be a lot of brawling in this match.
Yeah, brawling's a good way to put it, I think. Bruntal with a little gear mishap here. Has to pop the contact back in.
We used to see that a lot with Helen Maroulis as well. Her contacts would fall out quite a bit, and I was always impressed at how they could put it right back in, mat side, without a mirror or anything.
Coach Diamond Guilford kind of assisting her with the phone, the front camera, and ipso facto mirror. Mark Perry in the corner for Forrest Molinary, a Sunkissed Kids Wrestling Club athlete out there in Tempe. Molinary really working the head, now transitioning to the underhook.
And again, we're seeing with the higher weights that are a little bit more familiar with each other, it's a bit hard in the early part of the match to move the opponent out of position.
Right. And Molinary does like to use a game plan we saw Macy Kilty use, where she'll bang on the head, really try to wear on her opponents, and capitalize late when they get tired.
And I guess we'll see if that strategy works out. Emma Bruntal looking in really good condition.
Use your underhook. Use your underhook. Go. Go clear. Climb the arm. Left under. Get off the collar. Left under.
There is the shot clock point for Molinary. The first point of the match as we approach the 30-second mark here, remaining in period number 1.
Both ladies working really hard.
Yeah, now it's Molinary getting to the 2-on-1.
Yep, she needs to get some head position there. She had a nice deep 2-on-1, but needed to establish head position to utilize it.
That does it for period number 1. We go into the break. Forrest Molinary up 1-0. Whole lot of game planning there in period number 1. Not a whole lot of action.
It's a lot of locking antlers.
Yes. But I think similar to our last match, we'll see things open up here a little bit in period number 2.
Yes, we'll see how much conditioning is a factor here, but second period really does determine what you've been doing outside of wrestling.
Yep. Molinary so heavy on the head. Bruntal really trying to work this 2-on-1, but
oop, she's gonna need to tabletop that.
Forrest dropping down.
She's gonna try to keep that whizzer, and she's gonna sacrifice the takedown on that one.
2 offered, nothing yet though with the whizzer.
It looked like she released the whizzer a little bit and then reestablished it, so. Did we get confirmation?
Grounded, no points. Molinary wants to, but grounded the right call. That can sometimes be demoralizing, getting so close to that takedown, maybe even thinking you had it, since the whistle did offer 2, to get no points there, not even a step out.
Absolutely. It will go into factor in terms of what Molinary's mindset was. Does she think the referee cheated her out of 2 points, or did she want to confirm whether she received 2 points to know where she was in terms of strategy?
Same position here now, as Bruntal hits a slide by and looks for the ankle, but Molinary just drops down to the leg and shelves it on the far side. No points yet. Bruntal's going to have to get that right leg out if she wants to score this.
And her leg not in great position, and sometimes for women's wrestling, it looks scarier than it actually is. We are quite flexible in the hip girdle, and
yes.
And our knees can take a little bit of wear and tear. It does look like she's a little tender on that foot, though, on that leg. Nice low single. She needs to get her head up. Post to get your head up and come out the back door.
And brings that left
nice. Really close to a 2 point she does need to get. And then
with 2 and 2 more on the exposure as well.
In a Navy ride position right here, and possibly another 2.
2 confirmed, yes, 2 more. Huge sequence for Emma Bruntal.
And a series that Terry Steiner teaches quite a bit in the room.
30 seconds remaining. So we will likely see Bruntal go into defense mode here. Caution and one offered for interlocking fingers. And gonna be confirmed. Crossbody shot from Molinary. Good sprawl from Bruntal. An official gonna let the clock wind down here in this position. Emma Bruntal takes match 1, 6-3. It was one sequence where she got it done. The takedown, the turn, and the turn from the Navy ride position.
And you can see Vlada Zbojnikov in her corner, developmental coach originally for Team USA, telling Emma, just calm down emotionally. You still have a lot more work to do. And he's absolutely right. No time to celebrate. You guys go back and forth. She's back and forth with Molinary all the time. So it's really important to keep your head in the game all the way until the very end.
Absolutely. We're going to take a look at the action here from match 1. Here's that low single finish from Bruntal. Did a nice job with her head position there on that single, and Molinary just couldn't crawl forward and free herself from this Navy ride position. Not before giving up 2 turns. And so we are going to once again cut to a break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, it's going to be 72 kilograms, Amit Elor versus Joy Lewandowski.
David Taylor.